That's true. Daniel Drake's a 15-minute man, allegedly, apparently, as to what you guys are saying.
That's pretty respectable.
But for GX, we want it to be a little more than maybe they could have closed out that second game. Here we go then. Let's take a look at the picks and bans. And again, would be so huge. Remember, Kyoto cursed them back in winter. If they can beat G2 here in the arena, it will be huge. But G2, they're a dangerous beast.
They are.
So I'm thinking that they probably just ban out the Poppy again and then look for either a Vi or an Azir. Even if you want to go for the Azir, Poppy can be pretty annoying, especially if you are looking for more damage. Oh, the Vi ban, actually.
This is screaming Azir now.
Screaming Azir for sure.
I think honestly G2 could just get rid of it here. I don't feel like there's any pick that's higher value here than Azir.
I mean, the one you're leaving open is Gwen, and I don't think are they gonna first pick Gwen for Lot?
I mean, I think Lot could first pick it. I mean, Jax is out, Rumble is out, you do have the Akali, you do have
BB is out. And they do ban the Azir.
So Gwen is the power pick that's open right now. The question is they're just going straight for the Viktor.
Oh, I forgot about Viktor.
Yeah, I mean, Viktor is pretty high prior, but I wouldn't say it's higher than Gwen. I think both top laners might play hot potato with it, and then BB might just R3 it here and then ban tops for it, because I think when you pick Gwen this early, you're kind of scared of some combos on top lane, right? Like the Akali counter pick's really annoying. There are some other niche champs that someone like BB could pull out, so let's see.
These niche champs aren't like they're so hit or miss, you know?
It's
like
true,
I feel like, if, for example, the Akali into the Gwen, we have seen it before with really lackluster success. It's just, you really need to snowball early, because if that Gwen gets to 3-4 items in team fights, she's such a menace.
Orianna then for Caps, looking for that redemption.
Yeah, I mean, both mates just picking a scaling mage here. I think that says a lot. I mean, that says a lot about the game through, you know. They just want to scale up and have like an even fight. So I understand it with Azir being banned, though. I think it makes a lot of sense. I want to see what jungler they opt for here.
Oh, just Jarvan.
Jarvan is always good into Viktor. There's a lot of AD carries out there mobile as well, so maybe something like the Corki here.
Like Ezreal will be the premier pick, right? But that's out. You could go to Corki, you could look for something like Kai'Sa or Zeri later on, but Zeri is kind of useless champ, I'd say.
What?
Yeah.
Oh god, we have a new useless AD carry.
Yeah.
Zeri is just, she takes so long to scale. It's like 5 items and then she's useful.
Alright, let's
see.
This
is AD carry POV. Every AD carry sucks.
I love it. He's like, I can't do that. This is like Jack, like he can't win with any of them, so he's like, this ADC sucks.
Yeah.
This ADC sucks.
But the crucial thing is as well to go back to that Gwen here as well, because AD carries, there's not a lot of them left, right? And I don't think GX can afford to take it here. I think they need to find a good premier one for Noah right here before he gets banned out in second.
I think you lock in the Corki here and you're really happy as
but
Noah.
Corki is so, I think Corki, you know what?
Corki is useless. Corki is useless.
Global win rate is like 25%. It's unreal bad.
I agree the win rate is low.
Oh, wow.
Wait, this door's open?
Yeah, it is
I guess
open.
so.
But it's one of those things where I'm really curious now to see how Noah's going to fare.
Do you want to pick the Gwen here as Broken Blade? I think that's the biggest question.
But the thing is, Gnar is pretty good into the Gwen. So maybe
it's a bit annoying, you know?
Yeah, maybe you want to go for the Jace, or you want to go for something to bully the Gnar out early.
BB also has a lot of picks in general. Yeah, he likes to kind of hold, you know, so...
They could go ADC here and drop, or even support the back
okay, he's actually going for it. And this has to be a confident performance from BB, because he just locked it in last week, and it did not work.
Listen, and I heard the lines. I heard the lines that you hate the Yasuo. I don't know if it's you, but someone hated the Yasuo on G2, and you hated, Jesus. You hated the Yasuo regardless as a top lane pick.
It's just so hard to play. It's so hard to play. You need crazy good setup. He has good setup with the Jarvan and the Orianna, but he's into Poppy, man. How can you dash around?
Also, his mid laner hasn't been hitting anything. Do you think he's going to be set up for anything?
This is a way better draft for Yasuo than last weekend.
Okay.
I think that's the most
tricky though. Against Poppy and full tank Viktor might still be pretty tricky if I'm being honest. Top matchup is good, don't get me wrong, but like you said, like last time BB played this, he didn't look too hot, and IMO. If GX locks Rakan right now, the draft is over, by the way. They won the draft.
The Lucian ban is very interesting. Lucian Nami, we haven't been seeing that a whole lot. But
Lucian Braum in LCK as well.
Oh yeah, true actually. You can even pair Lucian.
So that's not
that is true, yeah.
True. But I think, as you said, like, Xayah Rakan here is just really insane.
Yes.
You don't have the dash, but you have so good peel back, and it's so hard for this Yasuo to play. They even banned the Nautilus for it.
Ooh.
I want to see now if they just honestly pick away Rakan. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Rakan pick away is not that bad, because I feel like if
Rakan into Poppy, which also feels
it's not optimal, but it's actually not that bad. When you get Merc cuts, you can actually play the game okay, and I think that with Jarvan as well, it's such a good combo. So I would love to see Labrov pick away the Rakan here.
And also then a lot of agency on Labrov. We've had a little bit of a magnifying, a magnifying glass on him. He's gonna have to make it happen. They got a lot of knockups now, though.
Yes.
do we present Poppy support here, or is there a better jungler that you take in this angle? Because like, there's still other champions available.
That's a good question.
I mean, Wukong is actually very good. It's also really good into the Yasuo. Just to, like,
more soak, I think, is very good here on the side of GX. So something like Wukong would be good.
Disruption, soak.
I would just look for a quirky Wukong here if I'm GX. I kind of like it. It's very safe, very all-round.
So you wouldn't still go for the Xayah? Like, I don't know anything about the game.
It can be a bit into this.
Jarvan also makes Xayah without Rakan.
Exactly, yes.
Sucks.
Takes so many items, but I do like the Kai'Sa actually. I think both Kai'Sa and Corki can work pretty well.
No,
and now you have this dive from the Wukong to actually go in.
Some tools,
So I like the Kai'Sa.
What build do you want to see out of the Kai'Sa?
I mean, definitely AP. You have the AD from the Wukong and the Gnar, so you have really good damage distribution. And it's actually a bit of
Oh, they get Xayah Rakan
I mean,
now.
that is smart from G2. The Rakan takeaway really flexes the champ pool of Hans Sama here, so I respect the... I mean, it looks like they have the biggest like wombo combo comp in the history in OG2.
Yes, it's crazy.
I am getting an old school peace pigeon wombo combo right now from that G2 composition. We want to set up for the Yasuo. You got it in jungle, you got it in mid lane, you got it in support, all right? If this doesn't work now,
sorry,
it's pretty much never going to work.
Does this mean GX dropped the ball? Because, I mean, 30 seconds ago it was if they get Xayah Rakan, this is the biggest draft gap ever, and now it's been stolen from under their noses.
I mean, GX draft also makes a lot of sense to me. I think they have a lot of kites back, they have a lot of options now with the Kai'Sa and the Poppy, so I think their draft makes a lot of sense as well.
And I still prefer GIANTX draft. I think they're going to take it. Yasuo's going to be useless unless he goes understeals up in lane.
I was just going to say as well, but I don't hate GX comp. They have so much room to play around with. Kai'Sa W, Viktor laser, they get to be in control of so much of the space.
So who's got the better draft, GB?
Who's got the Well, I'm going for the Yasuo because you're a hater and I'm going for it.
It's a Yasuo hate watch time for the people who have to play against a good one in solo queue and with a shitty one when they play. Let's see, but a lot is at stake here for G2, right? It would be very embarrassing after last week getting beaten by BDS if they cannot overcome this and beat GIANTX. And for GIANTX, I mean, the momentum would be unbelievable. Let's see if they can do it.
Let's see if they can do it. As Shock says, for GIANTX, this would be a massive win. They've got a difficult schedule coming up, and they would need every single win they can get if they're going to make it into our top 6 and get to playoffs. For G2, it's a rocky road at the moment, and I don't mean the delicious, calorific, dense kind.
And I'm not talking about the rocky road to Dublin either, so...
What's the Rocky Road to Dublin?
It's a song. It's also in the new movie Sinners that is out there.
I need to watch that movie. Apparently it's really good.
Yeah, I think, are we planning on going?
I think we're yeah, but here's the thing. We plan on a lot of things. We had planned to go to a food thing tomorrow.
Yeah, but then...
And you backed out.
Because I have to work.
No, you decided to work. You said money is more important than our friendship, and I'll remember that for the rest of our lives.
Only... Yes.
I think it's justifiable. We did hear a lot of people saying they quite like the GIANTX draft on the analyst desk. Jack in particular. I do wonder if he'll like it as much when this Kai'Sa builds crit.
Well, apparently he hates every crit build ever. So it's like, I don't...
He hates every AD carry ever and every crit build ever. Okay.
Unless he's piloted.
Unless it's Jhin.
Oh, unless it's Jhin.
Maybe he hates it because he's
also went
piloted it.
Yomu's rapid fire, so technically it wasn't a crit build.
Yeah, true.
That's probably why I liked it that much.
A few flexes happening in the draft, though. The Poppy going down towards the bottom side will make Rakan's life a lot harder. We see Broken Blade back on his Yasuo. Yasuo hasn't had the best of times in the LEC this split. Seen it a couple of times from Nuka, where it's lost. We've seen it from Broken Blade, where it's lost. We'll see perhaps if he can buck that trend today. A classic matchup into the Gnar, though.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just making sure that this Yasuo is safe. Like, you have to play so aggressive in this matchup to try and get value out of it. You see it there from Broken Blade. Like, you want to dash forward, constantly get onto Gnar when he's in mini form and just make his life a living hell. But to do so, you need good vision, you need your jungler to be playing up around you, and I think that's where oftentimes it's failed, like especially when you look at what Naka was playing. The man got dove 15 times in 3 minutes and was like, all right, well, this is doomed. So I think that's where I want to see SkewMond moving up already towards his top side, but getting the vision down to enable Broken Blade to play aggressive.
See a couple of pings going down on SkewMond. I can't quite see, but I think there's a ward in his Razor camp, so I expect that he has been spotted as he clears up towards the top side. There is, and we see Isma clearing down towards bottom side.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too much like hecticness in the early game from the junglers. SkewMond definitely wants to try and get active early, but for Isma, you generally end up waiting till level 6 as Wukong, because that's when you get access to your CC, and a lot of the champions on your team don't have access to immediate forms of CC, like you're kind of waiting on the gravity well to hit, or Lot 2B in Mega Gnar form, even Jun kind of needs a wall. So it's a lot of variability or inconsistent CC that's on the squad.
Yeah, it can be hard to land all of that crowd control. And as you say, when you get to 6, it's a little bit easier. Obviously, you have the Gnar, you have the Kiva's Verdict from the Poppy. Cyclone allows you to have a little bit more pressure for GIANTX. On the side of G2, a bit more consistent CC. You know, flag and drag, the knockups from Rakan, quickness coming out as well, the roots. We've already seen Hansama using well in that bottom lane. But for the moment, not too much happening. I wonder if Isma might look towards bot after he's taken this Scuttle Crab. Lot chunked out a little bit, but he's on his way to Mega Gnar. Yeah, Isma's there, waiting behind Labrov and Hansama. Cap's very low in the mid lane. Oh, one more! Oh, Jackie's! Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, Jackie's kind of into that one a touch. A small tad.
A smidge.
A smidge.
Teeny weeny bit.
Yeah, just a little baby, you know, just a small one. Just a little baby boy, you. Just a little baby. Little baby.
I would say that was a royal. But yeah, unfortunate for Jackie's. Yeah, there's not exactly what you want, especially when you have been doing a decent job of keeping Caps in check. The Orianna, a champion that does very well with gold. Like, so much of her kit revolves around her finishing off her Seraph's Embrace and then being able to get up towards kind of half an item or another full item, and she just becomes a menace. So the fact that you're kind of getting off to this early start is huge, particularly if level 6 is about to be hit and suddenly SkewMond shows up in the lane and there's a shockwave that's pulling Jackie's away from the safety of his turret.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Jackie's now. Low mobility mid laners are really susceptible to those ganks. Lot TPs down towards the bottom side as Noah reset early and went towards top, so we're going to see those traditional 4.5, 5-minute swaps out of both teams with the grub spawning in a minute's time. We're going to try and get control over that top side and then push out. A plate did fall there, but no one from G2 was near enough to pick up the gold. It's like a tree in the woods. If no one gets it, did it actually go down? The answer is yes. We can see objectively that plate has been broken. No one got the goal.
Yeah, but did anyone hear it? And that's what I really wanted to know in the
Well,
game.
Noah was nearby, so he probably heard it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I also heard it, so I'm not going to lie.
Oh, okay, cool.
But that's the full thing, you know? You got to go through the whole rigmarole.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Of hearing things.
Yeah.
Thankfully, kind of in our biology to be able to do that, isn't it?
Unfortunately, everyone listening to this cast has to hear me, though.
And me. Both of us, let's be honest. Look, guys. We're sitting here in the Euphoria studio. Things are going to get a bit loosey-goosey throughout the course of the day. We're doing both best of threes as well. So a little bit more free-flowing than usual, perhaps, as we have another slow early game between these two teams. The Grubs are up, but Isma is sneaking away the Drake. And without knowledge of this, it looks like SkewMond is working his way down across here, maybe thinking something tricksy might be going on.
Yeah, I think it's just a good read. And now he's just going to continue the leash that has been set up, right? Because Jackie's has basically been sitting underneath his tower because he's way more vulnerable with his splashdown, which is now giving control to Caps to go towards the objective. And good read from SkewMond, as we were saying, to just cover that. And it's kind of been the dichotomy between the two teams. GIANTX has definitely been more topside focused in this series when it comes towards getting grubs, whereas G2 have kind of put their latches into the dragon and say, this is our win condition, fighting around these. And it looks like we'll continue that for game number 3.
What we don't realize is it's actually next level mind games from Isma. He starts up the Drake to make SkewMond think that he wants the dragon. Okay. Whereas actually he wanted the grubs all along, but SkewMond was on the top side of the map. So now SkewMond's on the bottom side, he can take a grub.
Don't you feel foolish?
Yeah. It's outsmarted are outsmarting. As SkewMond looks behind this tower. Don't think they're going to go for a dive. G2 do have pressure in basically every lane. The only lane that has a small gold lead for GIANTX is top. About 80 gold ahead on that Gnar into the Yasuo.
Also, I'd like to point out that there was only 1 point grub that was taken by GX. So
but there was only 1 dragon taken by G2, so it's equivalent, right?
Okay, my bad.
That's how it works.
But I think G2, this is kind of more what you expect from that.
Just
Not
pushing the wave. He's pushing the wave. Look, the R in his name is silent, okay?
But I was going to say the controlling waves well, getting leads through, hey, you got the kill on the mid wave, whatever, but you also have been doing a good job of then Caps being able to get a little bit of a CS lead for himself. Same when you look at the top side, or sorry, when you look at the AD carries that have been on the top lane, so, and you're now getting advantage in objectives. So it's a much slower pace from G2, but it seems they are significantly more locked into what is happening on the map.
Yeah, and this is how they came out at the start of spring with this sort of mentality. It wasn't all about early action. It was, we move around the map well, we use pressure in the lanes well to get objectives, and then we get gold leads. And here it is only 500, but the expectation is that will continue to ramp up as the game goes on. And they've already got a Drake and 2 Grubs, so very much in the lead across the course of this early game. For GIANTX, they really haven't found an avenue to find fights. Like, we had that one little play from Jackies in mid lane that didn't work out, but haven't really seen Isma on the map too much as of yet. Does have the Cyclone now, so can have a little bit more impact. There's some hard CC coming out from him and a little bit from his laners, depending on where he goes.
Yeah, I think the fact that the SkewMond hasn't been very active kind of helps out. Like, Sherry pushed him off of Dragon and got the objectives, but as in interfering in the lane states, like the early kill towards Caps is nice for G2, but it's nothing too crazy at the minute. So you still should be in a position where if you enter into fights, you have those chances to try and step up. And even the fact that Jackies has gone towards the early Ionian boots does mean it's like a little tough. You don't really have the damage there, but you can kind of tell he's more on the defensive side of things, where he's like, I just want my flash to be up as often as possible, so I'm going to go for the ones that reduce summoner smoke code.
Makes a lot of sense. Jackies will get tankier as the game goes on. Oh. Jun looking for the knock into the wall here. Keeper's Verdict coming out as well as Hans Summer is exhausted. Good root, good knock up. Jun able to keep Labrov and Hans Summer at bay for now. And, in the end, it's a Ghost and an Exhaust for a barrier and a heal.
And Labrov's knockup was crucial there, though, because you wouldn't have got the feather pullback from Hans Summer, because you would have had the killer instinct to reposition yourself as Noah. So Labrov kind of doing the work there to make sure that you actually go for a bit more of an even trade there off the back of that. But now with level 6 hit for Labrov, they're just going to continue to put pressure on that bottom side, and it's Noah now who has to play very safe as he's fairly low on health.
Lost just going to TP down here again and catch his wave. We've seen this a couple of times already from GIANTX. They're trying to move out of the difficult lane that we talked about G2 trying to do this in the past. They're 20 CS down. They know this is a hard lane into the Xayah Rakan, who have a lot more pressure than those champions would have matched up with other supports or a different AD carry because of the Lovers duo, their ability to get in from longer range and have the enhanced recalls and everything. So you can see that GIANTX struggling a little bit in that bot lane, a little bit in mid as well, only because of that first blood. They're just trying to get through this early game as unscathed as possible. Next set of Grubs up in a minute 30. Next Dragon up in a minute's time, though. So I wonder if we'll see either teams deciding to fight over that.
I'd imagine it's G2 that... Oh, hang on, Labrov?
Yeah, he's got the quickness. You can't do that. Noah has to use the Killer Instinct to kind of piggyback off Labrov and get out.
But I was going to say, I think for G2, if I was them, I'd try and push in top, as Gnar just going to be there for damage, but push in top and then look for the reset down in towards bot lane. But with all the rigmarole, it hasn't really happened here, and Phoebe is doing fine.
Going in, Lock still in that mini-Gnar form. You can see BB flashing over Isma. Flash Cyclone, though, does get the double. Lot healing up as well. Lot will fall. Caps now knocked up with the second cast of the Cyclone. Isma! Oh no! Yes! Isma! Never mind! Caps knows. He's in your mind. He knows exactly where you are. Caps now 3-0 on this Orianna.
Yeah, the Labrov had gone for the reset, so I think Isma kind of knew, look, if I try and run into any other bushes, there's eventually going to be a G2 bot lane that shows up, so had to take the risk of resetting, but broke Caps' ankles for a little bit, but it turned out it was only a sprain, nothing too much to write off about. BB, I mean, nice play underneath the tower, right? Unfortunately, though, for Lost, he thinks he's got his jungler there to help out. Broken play with a good flash, and then just being able to barely clip on towards Lot with the extended E as well. And then Caps, like, it's a nice job from Isma to kind of fake Caps out, but there's nowhere to go, right? You can see where Labrov is on the map, so you always know it's Isma. Unless I can immediately reset, it's over.
And Caps coming out swinging in this game. 3-0 now on that Orianna. 1.2k ahead. Second Drake as well for G2. SkewMond took that as we were watching the replays. Grubs are up. GIANTX will start them up. If G2 can get a couple of these away, they get themselves the might spawning as well. But with Caps TPing into the bot lane, it would be a difficult thing to fight over.
Looks like G2 still want to go for it, but as you say, yeah, like your strongest member is not in position here, so I'm kind of surprised that G2 are trying to commit as heavily for this lot. Moving up, Mega Gnar is popped, which means you'll only have Mini Gnar if GIANTX really want to commit to this play.
Yeah, he's just going to jump over the wall and put a little bit of vision down, spots SkewMond out. G2 have done a good job of getting tower plates in this early game, getting gold in this early game, about 1,000 gold ahead. See a little bit behind in the jungle role because of Isma picking up that kill, a little bit behind in top as well.
A little bit of fake pressure mid though, and look where SkewMond is. So as GIANTX trying to commit for the Herald, it's actually, sorry, for the Void Grubs, SkewMond is looking for a potential dive on towards Lot, which means Lot can't commit to the bot lane tower, so more resources being given towards Caps, as he should be able to get more plates, if not, and it'll be a little bit more for the tower.
Left, yeah. And you can see Isma trying to do the same thing on the top side. Labrov here to shadow Broken Blade, but Broken Blade just forced to walk away, doesn't have that flash. Labrov does have flash and quickness if they want to go for a fight, but looks like this is all about just giving Jackies as much gold as possible. Cap should be able to take the first tower of the game though, and continue to extend his gold lead, almost as a fully stacked Seraph's Embrace already. And it's going to be a very strong Orianna. As the plates fall off, GIANTX will get a tower of their own.
Yeah, this is where Caps is going to be terrified in these fights because you've so much or a setup for him in the team. SkewMond going in to set up for these big wombo combos. Same when you look at Labrov, the follow up on Broken Blade. So this is where Caps can very quickly take over. Even going for like the Leandri's Anguish after this, he's just going to be so potent. And I don't know if GIANTX are really in a position to fight back. We kind of said already, like Jackie's not very mobile on the back lines, and also then like even Noah is kind of reliant on a killer instinct, but you can't always guarantee you're going to be able to get away from the likes of Labrov, especially not having something like a cleanse for the quickness makes it very tough to play around.
It really does. He will get tankier as the game goes on, has that Rod of Ages stacking up right now, so it maybe Jackies can survive through the initial engage, but Shockwave quickness combination is not something you often survive through when the Orianna is as fed as Caps is. Next objective's up with the couple of Void Grubs still here for GIANTX. There's another Drake in 2 minutes time. Jun looking for SkewMond, can't quite land the slam into the wall, does force him out, so Isma should be able to pick up this Scuttle Crab before Labrov comes across. Lot now jumping in, SkewMond going forward as well, and TP comes out. There's the quickness from Labrov. He needs to escape, but he can't get away from the Cyclone. Broken Blade here to join the play, but GIANTX get a kill. Keeper's Verdict stopped by Jun. And G2, I mean, they went for that play, but it's GIANTX who came out on top.
Yeah, you can see Caps was running down from top lane, but as soon as he showed up, GIANTX were like, bombs home, everyone run. Don't let them get caught in this mess. So they managed to get one kill, run out, and now they're in their position to try and cover the lanes as well. So G2 going a little over aggressive, expecting Caps to be there sooner.
Yeah, maybe thinking he was just, as you say, a little bit closer to them overall. Lot now going to answer this wave in the bot side. Broken Blade has been farming up okay, has that Play of the Ruin thing complete on the Yasuo when he really becomes a champion, similar to his brother Yone. Both of them do need that first item before they really do too much. G2 with a push in the mid lane should be able to take their second tower of the game and extend that gold lead slightly. Hasn't really exploded after Cap picked up those early kills, but for now, I think G2 will be comfortable enough with the position the game's in.
Yeah, if they could get the Rift Herald, they'd be delighted just in being able to have threats on towards tier 2s, but it's not the end of the world. But I think this game has been a much better situation of SkewMond being in positions to support Caps on a side lane push, kind of shutting down a lot of where GX wanted to put aggression. And also just Jackie's having less control over mid has kind of shut down Isma's pressure as well. So it's kind of been this knock-on effect of just the mid jungle for G2 having significantly more control over this game.
And for GIANTX, it's a little bit of a worry because they have a very difficult schedule coming up over the next few days. G2, then Movistar Koi, then BDS and Heretics are the final 4 series they have remaining. We expect you need 4 series wins to make it into our playoffs. And right now, obviously they can still beat G2 in this series. They're a little bit down in this game 3, but Koi tomorrow, the home field advantage kind of for both teams. If they manage to win that, you still really need to beat BDS and Heretics if they're going to make it all the way through to playoffs, and they just haven't been consistent enough for me to have faith in them to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, I mean, we saw it in the last game, right, where they get these early leads and then overstep, overforce, and here we're going to have to see when they're behind if they can try and find this fight at the Dragon as G2 trying to set up for multiple flank angles, but GX holding their own at the moment.
Yeah, Lot's looking for one as well, almost in that Mega Gnar form. You can see That Fury bar all the way to the tippy top. G2 just brute forcing in, getting control of the river bush. Lots about to go mega. Can't really find an avenue in yet.
I think if you don't hit Caps with the Poppy ultimate, I think this fight is just G2 favor. GX, they kind of have to come in as a one-man army, which is perfect for this setup for G2.
I mean, as soon as Lot goes into minion art form, you have to feel G2 will go on the offensive again. Yep, there's the quickness. They step in, they dive forward, and down goes Jun. No Keeper's Verdict available anymore. Isma has to flash out the back of the pit. Lot forced away by Broken Blade. G2 will happily accept Soul Point.
Didn't even have to burn the ultimate from Caps. It's just enough damage from Labrov knockup and the final breath coming through from Broken Blade. So G2, this is just what you get to do when you're in later this phase. Just bully your way through everyone.
Yeah, it's also like GIANTX don't have the easiest initiation, right? Like Isma has to find a flank. You have to get that Cyclone on the back line, but Isma can't just run at Caps because command attack still hits you even if you're invisible, right? Like even if you can't be seen. It becomes really hard for GIANTX in this sort of position. If their lanes were a little bit more ahead, if Lot was a bit tankier, maybe they could brute force, but very hard right now for GIANTX to actually find avenues into fights.
Yeah, I think you have to like be very deliberate on where you were taking that fight. So like as you retreat back over towards Dragons, GIANTX, like let someone lean down in towards the like red buff pit. Have someone else that's there where basically Lot was, and try and force G2 to fight on multiple fronts. But it's very difficult to do that when you aren't ahead. To just actually say, oh no, if we brute force this, we win the fight. So G2 kind of calling the bluff in that situation and making it difficult for GIANTX.
And now we see Caps actually matching up into Lot on the top side. Lot's built armor, so Caps will be very happy with that matchup for now. Lot's going to have to back away. They waited for the Mega Gnar to time out, and now G2 will turn their eyes towards the Rift Herald. Broken Blade going into Fog once again. Should be able to catch the mid wave that is getting shoved in by Noah right now.
I think it's just trying to trade effectively for GIANTX is just difficult. Like you can kind of see it's, hey, Broken Blade is going to cover mid, and this will let them get the tier 2 on boss, or sorry, the tier 1 on bot lane, but you're still going to have quicker resets for G2, and you've already lost your 2 towers top. So now you have a potential Rift Herald onto a tier 2, or you just outright lose a tier 2 for this play by GIANTX.
It's Rift Herald straight away from SkewMond. They're going to charge in here. Only have 2 grubs, so it's not the quickest push, but Caps is so strong with Leandries and Seraph's complete that his auto attacks absolutely slam through the tower. G2 now 4 towers to 2 up, 3,000 gold in the lead. They can transition this pressure down towards the bottom side.
And traditionally, when you're in a position like this as Orianna, you kind of need to start looking at like a Void Staff or something along those lines. But because you don't really have a true tank on GIANTX's side, it's just death cap. So it's just burst damage galore for Caps, and this is like the perfect spot to be in as an Orianna. Like we haven't seen the shockwave, but I think you're going to be insulted by how much damage this thing is going to do.
Here's the thing, we've talked about Caps being ahead this entire game.
Yes.
He's never going to have the shockwave.
Fair,
they're just going to kill them without the shockwave, and we're all going to be left here with a sense of disappointment that we didn't get to see the like how much damage it actually does, you know? It's that regret that you sometimes get. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a German word for it.
Oh, probably Schmickel-Smerchen. Mittag noch Kopfschmerz. That's midday head pain, apparently. Oh. I just picked random German words to put together, I'm going to be honest.
Genau.
Genau? Yeah, genau.
So. Mit Karte bitte. Let's get back to the game.
Entschuldigung, mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut. GIANTX here looking to gain control over the bot side river. Still a minute and a half before we have a dragon coming up. Rob dodging and diving around, but it's more about mid-prio than anything else. Caps has to back away from bot lane a little bit because his team haven't cleared out the vision around here entirely and don't have vision of their own, so GIANTX could be slowly working their way to try and kill Caps, but Labrov goes in and is met with a presence that is quite steady and quite fast from Jun as he stops the advance. 2 items now on Noah, though perhaps a small glimmer of life for GIANTX. Jackie's is at 10 stacks as well, that Rod of Ages giving him his extra level.
I was watching Broken Blade because he reset, picked up the second item, and then immediately TP'd into bot side. So I wasn't sure if G2 were going to just try and hard force into this bot side jungle, but it looks like at the moment they're just going to reset. So I'm kind of surprised that they invested BBCP for that. Like, Dragon is in 45 seconds, sure, but the wave is going to be pushed back out now. So it looks like G2 still a bit unsure as to, at times, as how they want to approach it, but still, with 30 seconds until this Dragon, they're in a perfectly fine.
It feels like one of those, we have thrown a few times in this series, let's just not do anything until Soul is up, right? It's 30 seconds away. Now we know how to set up around objectives. We'll just push in, get pressure, and then...
Yeah, and I was watching Caps as well, because he'd gone top side. I think it was trying to get vision. No, he's fine. Yeah.
I thought Isma was a G2 player for a second, and I was like, okay, Jun's in a bad spot.
But Caps couldn't quite finish the death cap. Not a massive thing, but still, maybe impactful.
Okay, so Lot has a bit of a flank position, but only half a Gnar bar. Jun's looking for Broken Blade. Steadfast Presence will get a couple of people knocked up, but that's a big cooldown down for the remaining fight. GIANTX have started up the Hextech Drake. SkewMond is there. Keeper's Verdict stopped by the blast cone from Labrov. The Cyclone going forward, but Isma's rooted in place. They can't find anyone. The Drake does go over to GIANTX, but at what cost? Lot's getting chased down by Labrov. Lot jumps back in, a three-man Gnar with a double stun. Summer goes into the Featherstorm. Caps is falling lower and lower, but he's still surviving in the middle. Noah's going to be able to take out one. Broken Blade looking for him as well, but Noah gets another. Great sidestep from that Steel Tempest. GIANTX lose 3, but they get the Drake and they take down 2 with them.
Labrov is on the hunt though. The Rakan wants to be a bird of prey in this one, but it's Noah who's going to be able to walk away from that one. And somehow they get the turnaround. So as this goes through, you saw it called a Keeper's Verdict gone. Isma getting 0 value realistically out of that ultimate. SkewMond goes for the ultimate on Noah, knowing that killer instinct will be used, just trying to get value from it. But Lot here ends up going forward, and Jackie's is immediately able to follow. Gets the play on towards Caps and on towards Hand Sandwich, force the flash. And then as they finish off onto the low health members of GIANTX, watch Noah sidestep just barely on that Steel Tempest. And Jackie's also in a position to constantly control that choke point so no one else can follow up on towards Noah.
Now, good play all around by GIANTX, making sure they get the Drake as well. Still a huge lead for G2. Still 3,000 gold in the lead. Did we see the shockwave in that fight?
I don't think
we did.
No.
I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus, but I can't think of something funny to say anymore. I think that kind of summarizes my career right there, doesn't it?
Look, we'll have to see what's in your future for the rest of this game. Death Cap's still not completed for Caps. Now just finished as he's coming out of base. So definitely significantly stronger.
Oh, he's huge,
but, has to press the buttons if you want to try and hit it. I think getting caught out very well by Lot in that situation just meant that there wasn't a huge amount that he could do.
Oh, yeah, I'm not blaming Caps, right? I don't think there was a moment really where the shockwave would have been impactful. It was just funny that he is in such a strong spot and is unable to use that ability. 3 items, though, for Hans Summer, as he managed to pick up a little bit of gold in that last fight. Navori, FLICKR Blades completed alongside the IE and the Yuntals. And importantly, Noah going for AP here, Dagda.
Yeah, look, it makes a lot of sense try and play at range, but also the... I just want to give a shout out to GIANTX how they positioned in that last fight.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's almost exactly what we were talking about, which was having multiple angles of attack. Because that is kind of why you didn't get that shockwave, because there wasn't value for Caps to use it, right? Like, Lot is on one side, you've got Jun who's putting pressure on the other. This, though, is less so that.
Labrov going for Jackie's. Quickness gets in range. Jackie's knocked up. There's the shockwave, and Jackie's is dead. Labrov's going to fall as well. SkewMond being chased down towards the bottom side. G2 have found one, as have GIANTX. Lot goes into the Mega Gnar form. SkewMond getting chased out by Isma, slowed up, but can just flag and drag his way away. Jun flashes in, but there's no real follow-up from the rest of GIANTX. Killer Instinct on a Broken Blade, gets the knock-up into the last breath. Now Hans Summer starts to open up, gets the root, but in goes the Cyclone. Noah's on the wrong side of the wall to really do too much. More catapults coming out. SkewMond's now separated from the rest of his team, and he will fall as well. In the end, it's GIANTX coming out on top in terms of the trade, losing 2, taking 3.
These are not fights that should be going this way, though. GIANTX are behind. It should be G2 being able to breeze through them, especially with the damages on Caps. But in this position, like, you get Jackie, sure, but the instant knockout of Hans Sama, the shockwave used only onto one, and then G2 being split up here makes it really tough. Like, again, Lot has actually been doing a really good job of kind of drawing members of G2 on towards him. Jun flashes in, almost kind of baits G2 into focusing onto Caps. So then Noah can move over here to help out Broken Blade. Also then Lost, Isma being able to hop over the wall with Lost means that then SkewMond has to overcommit, so he ends up falling. It's just very messy from G2.
Also, good positioning from Jun there. Steadfast Presence stopped SkewMond from getting the flag and drag in a little bit quicker, which may have meant that he didn't have to jump over the wall. As you say, very messy from G2. GIANTX playing multiple flank angles to try and play around the fact that G2 do still have this lead. 40 seconds on the next Drake, though, and 3 items complete now for Noah. Has that Nash's, so has the E upgrade. He'll be dashing around the fight like nobody's business. For G2, what are we missing? Well, Labrov has no flash, and that's about it. GIANTX, again, their support with no flash as well.
Yeah, I think it is the fact that you've got Noah into this position, though, is perfect for GIANTX. Like, he's in now an incredibly strong spot where he can look to poke like this, try and keep G2 at bay, and just make things a little bit more difficult for them. And also things like you were highlighting, the Seeker's arm guard is clutch for Jackie. So this isn't as like one and done for G2 as you kind of expected. Now, once more, you can just blow a fight out of the water for G2. Like, you've got that combo, but you have to find it.
Ooh, Broken Blade looking. Can't find anything. I like this from G2 separating the points of pressure, saying, okay, we know you're going to try and play around that dragon. We'll start up the Baron while you do. Noah's going to be able to take the Drake. How low is that Baron right now? 9,000 on it. Isma trying to get behind the pit. Keep its verdict. Goes down. SkewMond's not in the pit anymore. SkewMond's not in the pit anymore. And that's the easiest steal I have ever seen happen. Lot trying to go in as the Rob has to pop the quickness. It's daylight robbery in the LEC.
But that's also going to be the mid tower going down as well. Look at where Noah is. G2 are throwing this game over and over, and GIANTX are happy to pick it up.
Oh my god, like, it was so easy. They stood on top of each other. It's a great keeper's verdict from Jun, like, credit to him. But you're standing right next to where he can cast
and
it.
There's no vision to try and spot out if Jun is going for that play. Hans Sama is left high and dry in the pit as well. Like, there's no point in me even trying to find a way out. He knows he's going to go down. And you lose your mid tower, and you lose the dragon. Like, GIANTX have just now taken firm control of this game.
They take the Rakan as well, have the false life buff now. It's only 1,000 gold lead, but the momentum is truly in GIANTX's favor. With this Baron buff for the next 2 minutes, G2 on the back foot, last breath going in. Noah able to escape. False life does get procced in the end, as does Jun's, and now Jackie's is on the retreat. Isma, I mean, he can look to try and save his mid laner, doesn't need to. Jackie's able to get away. Thorn now TP behind, as you say. Jackie's uses the stopwatch, puts the Arcane Storm down, knocked up, locked up, and he'll have to withdraw as well. GIANTX greedy, going for the tier 2 in bot lane.
Not TP'd in behind, and then realizes Gnar ran out and just walked away. Just completely left Jackie to his own device.
Look, man, okay, like, you know, sometimes, you just gotta leave him. You just gotta leave him behind. He turned to stone. Lot's like, I'm not having any more of this. Hansama, though, it's locked up, not knocked into the wall. Featherstorm comes out. Good grand entrance. Killer Instinct in. Hansama has the flash now. Labrov able to get away from Lot. Do you think there's something with GIANTX and biblical names, by the way? Because Noah and Lot are both biblical. At the moment, G2 are not at their biblical strength, we can say.
I think GX are doing a good job.
Do you think they're able of it? Able to do it. That's so much better, as we see Lot getting caught out. Does have that Gnar. Broken Blade dodges to the side of it. Isma and Lot do still have their false lives. Keeper's verdict stopped by Jun. Jackie's still pushing in the top side. G2 do gain control over the mid lane wave.
In the grand scheme of things, though, like, it hasn't been that impactful of a Red Bull Baron power play. Like 3K, sure, but a lot of that was off the back of the immediate fights and the immediate Rakan and that. So I think the GX could have played a little bit more around, hey, getting these turrets and trying to get ourselves into a better position. But like, at this stage, I think you're kind of happy at GIANTX that you're now in a gold lead for the first time in this entire game. And also, Rabadon's Death Cop about to come through for Jackie's. Like, he's in a very, very strong spot, and you're just kind of falling into irrelevancy in a lot of G2 sides.
Yeah, and Caps is the only person on G2 that has a gold lead, but his gold lead has shrunk by about 1,000 gold over the last 10 minutes or so. GIANTX done a really good job of getting themselves back into the game, helped by the fact that G2 have decided to become baseball pitchers with how much they've been throwing throughout this series. but you can only catch what's thrown at you, and GIANTX have got their mitts on and ready to catch anything that comes their way. For now, we are waiting on the next Drake, a minute 20 before that comes up, 2.5 minutes before the next Baron spawn as well, but I expect the Dragon will be our key focus.
I think the problem for G2 though is that it's way more difficult for them now to contest into this position. GIANTX, as long as they can control a lot of these river areas, or at least entrances, means that you don't get as much value from the setup as you would have liked. Especially when GX, they already have shown they have an understanding of trying to play for these flank angles in team fights. If you're playing into a jungle spot like this, there's multiple angles of attack that GIANTX can come for.
Yeah, especially when you have the ability to push out the waves first, you just get to gain control of so much more of the fog of war early, and you can see that's what GIANTX are doing, right? They step in, they're like, okay, G2, you don't know where we are. Drake up in 30 seconds time. Broken Blade coming out with his Infinity Edge complete, so he's at 3 items as well. I think that's the G2 fans trying to cheer on their team after they've fallen back in this game quite a lot. GIANTX, home field advantage, whatever you want to call it, the sixth man of the crowd, just somehow really revitalizing this team coming into the final 3 weeks of the season. They can play for the Drake. G2 nowhere near it. They're giving this one up. It's going to be at least 6 dragons in this game, maybe 7. As I expect, we won't see the end in the next 5 minutes.
G2 are kind of splitting the map though, and I think this works for GIANTX because now they've immediately been able to move over towards the tier 2. G2 trying to play on towards a lot in the mid lane, but I don't know if you want to commit to this. And the waves are kind of in a better position for GX right now.
Yeah, because there's a tier 2 here for them, right? G2 did get a quicker push in top lane from Caps, but he took that tier 2 ages ago with the Rift Herald.
But it was also the fact that, like, everyone in G2 showed mid, so there isn't really a threat on towards the top tier 1. So it means that you're always in a position now as GIANTX to get the tier 2 reset and protect your top tier 1. So that's why I was kind of surprised.
Right?
Sorry, tier 3, and that's why I was surprised to see G2 show in mid rather than just immediately trying to capitalize on the top half. But
one of the things you can do is place vision during that sort of time, right?
Exactly,
if we moved in here with Labrov, you could have got some wards down. They've got a couple superficially placed just now, but nothing too monumental.
In 10 seconds. That vision could have been a pick right now before you take this fight.
100% agree with you there, Dagda. G2 will be able to take the Scuttle Crab, so they have a little bit of vision around the Baron pit at least. Now with 5 members of either team in this mid lane, Isma caught up, has a Guardian Angel on his shoulders to try and help him out. We're still on no biblical references I see. Is it Peter, is it Paul, who knows? As or Gabriel, probably a better one. As G2 are forced back through mid. Lot looking for that flank position, about to go Mega Gnar, so he'll be trying to find an engage. Goes into that Mega. Chucks the boulder at SkewMond's back, but doesn't really find too much more. G2 will want to wait out this Mega Gnar, and with the Demacian Standard coming over the wall, they know exactly where Lot is.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Lot was going to go for the hop over the wall.
Oh, Isma goes in with a cycle and onto Summer. Meanwhile, Jackie's down towards one side as pops. Caps his stopwatch. Isma's going to come back up with the GA. Kind of instinctive by Noah. Jackie's killed on Summer, and now it's all on Noah to try and put the team in his arc, but he can't do it. Good double knockup from Labrov. SkewMond a Broken Blade, the only 2 left alive though, and Jackie still has the damage. SkewMond will fall to Jackie's. The death ray is his death knell. Broken Blade catches the wave, and I think maybe a lack of damage now for GIANTX, as they might turn their eyes towards the Baron, but Labrov and Broken Blade are still both up.
Jackie still has a lot of damage and a stopwatch, gonna need it.
Knocker, last breath onto Jackie's, but he's damn tanky with the Rod of Ages. Jackie's pops the stopwatch side from power, giving him a little bit of a shield as well. Broken Blade falls to Isma. It's Jackie's that takes the kill. Isma gets Labrov. G2 thinking, if we can kill Jackie's, we can stop the Baron, but they can't do that.
The fact that Zhonya's wasn't used was crucial at the end of this, but you'll see this fight kick off. Isma flashing forward onto Hansama. Hansama trying to hold on to that ultimate to keep himself safe, but eventually forced to use it. Cap flashes with the shockwave on top of him to Sombrero, but only ends up hitting on towards Isma, who already has that GA as well, so he's back up in the fight. And then as this fight goes on, Broken Blade is just too low on the HP to really follow up on this. Jackie's there with consistent DPS is the difference maker, and even as the fight continues on, Broken Blade heals on the minion wave, but Jackie's was untouched in that fight, so he has that Zhonya's Hourglass. Baits in Broken Blade essentially to wait for Isma to come through, and then once it's committed, perfect timing on the stopwatch. and they're just about able to finish off Broken Blade and then get the follow-up on Labrov as well.
It's actually such a nice bait as well. Gravity well on himself. Broken Blade dashes through Isma. As soon as he dashes back, he pops the stopwatch. Broken Blade gets stunned. Isma can finish off the kill before you come back up. We see GIANTX picking up the Baron a minute 30 on Hex Soul for them. And now, how much can they do with this Baron buff? No tier 2s remain for G2, a 4,000 gold lead for GIANTX. And what an upset to start off the weekend in Madrid this would be. The crowd there, people have traveled miles to be here. I saw flares outside the arena as well.
They have a brass band.
It's so cool, man. It's so cool. We'll see if GIANTX can live up to their fans' expectations by taking down G2. I think the question does begin to arise, how strong are G2 right now as well? With the loss to BDS last week and a possible loss here against GIANTX.
The combo is still there though. We just need that synchronization between them, and it hasn't been there on G2. And Noah is a prime target. He has no flash. It is only the killer instinct. The problem is Zhonya's Hourglass is now up and available for him. So you're still finding these moments that are tough for G2.
Labrov, man. Talk about the engaged possibility. Labrov on a flank of a lifetime. Block coming in as well. That's the Arcane Storm. Jackie's just on the front spot, the front foot as he pops the stopwatch to avoid the shockwave. Labrov forced away. Caps the same, does have the teleport. Labrov should be able to escape this. Root landing only onto the clone there. GIANTX, I mean, they forced the shockwave out of Caps, and they managed to catch SkewMond, who has a Guardian Angel. It's going to be resurrected in the middle of GIANTX. They miss all of the CC that they wanted to happen after he comes out, but still managed to take him down. Now there's a Drake to fight over, and G2 don't have their jungler.
And you still got Isma's engage as well, so G2 needs to be so careful of Brawl.
He has to use the quickness to try and escape, but he's locked up. And Jackie's with the Siphon Power. Noah takes it in the end. Hunsummer the next target for GIANTX, and G2 are caught all out of sorts. Hunsummer's down as well. The soul secured. Caps on the front line as Jun slams him into a wall. GIANTX proving that they're the better team with G at the start of their name.
It is rare that we see Caps start 3-0 in a game, and now maybe on the brink of losing said game. GIANTX, they want to take it right here.
Caps and Broken Blade trying to defend. They have Shockwave, they have the last breath, but Jun is keeping them at bay. The killer instinct in by Noah. Stopwatch to avoid the damage from Caps. GIANTX, take a bow in front of your fans. That was incredible.
I cannot believe it is GIANTX who managed to take that game. It started off so poorly for them. Caps with the outplay and the solo kill in the mid lane. But they kept fighting. They refused to give up, and they outplayed G2 every step of the way.